Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another match review. And today is match day number 9. Chelsea played Southampton today. And what a result for the Chelsea, for the Blues. And yeah, 4-1 away. In a way, it's a bit like the Wolverhampton game, I guess you could argue, where we had that brilliant 5-1 win away from home. That was a good game, but this game, really, really good overall. I didn't watch the whole match. I did watch part of it. It was live on Sky Sports, which obviously is great news for myself. But, of course, let's dig in to today's result. And let's first start with the hosts, as always, Southampton. Let's talk about them, really. 4-1 defeat, or 1-4, as some commentators may say it. Not a good result for them. And what it now more or less means they're also in threat of being put into relegation zone. Now, when I said it's 9th match day, it's the actual 8th match day, so I've got that wrong. But anyway, they are in now a bit of threat of being put into that relegation zone. Because Norwich, if Newcastle picks up further points when they play, I believe it's Man United, obviously that will certainly be a close game, possibly. If Man United, loses that, which I think they could easily quite do, obviously Newcastle will move ahead of Southampton, move ahead of Everton, of course. Pretty interesting overall. But yeah, not a great day for Southampton overall, if you're a Southampton fan. But defensively, they were shocking. Going forward, they were all right. Danny Ings, was pretty good going forward. Most of the Southampton attackers are pretty good quality, actually. But defensively, absolutely nowhere. And what's weird, when I looked at this game, compare it to a match, back against Liverpool, just only a few weeks ago, really. Less than a month ago, it must have been. Liverpool actually struggled to, really get a win at Southampton. Yet today, Chelsea breezed past Southampton, I'd like to say, really. There were a couple of moments for Chelsea, and we'll come to them, in a moment. But at the end of the day, Southampton really couldn't contain that Chelsea attacking front. Mason Mount on the score sheet, Tammy Abraham, all them players. But, as I say, Southampton couldn't contain them, overall. And, yeah, I honestly feel a bit sorry for Southampton. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like this could be a season where Southampton are really going to struggle, and come, let's say, May, could be in that relegation fight for survival, really. And I really do think they are going to be one of them teams in that relegation battle. And it wouldn't shock me if they are, because at the end of the day, the way they performed was not a Premier League side. I'm sorry, that was a Championship side, not a Premier League side. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame because, Southampton's been sort of around now for a couple of years, good 5 years now, and they've been in the top flight of Premier League football. So for them to be on this now, I guess, low, is a bit of a shame, really. Next, we move on to now Chelsea, and, a really, really solid result. Tammy Abraham opening up the scorings, then Mason Mount followed very shortly afterwards. Danny Ings did respond with a goal in the 30th minute. Kante, though, provided a bit more comfort going into the half-time break, and Batshuayi topped or put the cherry on the cake. And yeah, that is literally how I think the best way to describe it overall. And we now move up to 5th in the Premier League. We're only a point behind Arsenal. We're on a par with Leicester City. But actually, this hasn't been a bad start indeed for Chelsea overall. And in fact, it's been a very, very good start overall for Chelsea. 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. That's not that bad, overall. We've got the same actual defeat tally as Man City. In terms of number of goals scored, we've scored 18, which is more than Arsenal, more than Leicester City, more than Tottenham, okay, and Manchester United. Okay, in terms of defensively, well, yes, we are quite shockingly bad at our defensive play. We're worse than Arsenal, but we're no worse than, by the looks of it, Tottenham, Bournemouth, quite frankly. And we're miles better than, obviously some other teams around. But, overall, it hasn't been a bad start. I personally don't think for Frank Lampard at Stamford Bridge, he's 8 games into his campaign. He's won 1 Champions League game. He's won a Carabao Cup round 1 game, I'm going to say. He's won 4 Premier League games. He's drawn 2 Premier League games. He's only had 2 defeats. And overall, he's only had 3 defeats so far this campaign in Champions League and Premier League combined. So overall, that's a pretty decent start. And we're now 4 wins in a row as well. So we're picking up momentum as well. I'm not saying, look, we're going to be, challenging for Premier League title this season. Of course, maybe, probably not. I think that's well out of the question. But 3rd place is a reality, I think. Unquestionable reality, quite honestly. Because, if we look at it in another light, okay, we are quite truthfully, okay, only at 2 points behind Man City, who aren't having the greatest season, okay, so far, I wouldn't say. We're only a point behind Arsenal, and I think we've got a better squad than Arsenal, realistically, especially what we've shown. So I'm not fearing really being behind Arsenal this season. I think that, is realistically not going to happen. So really, we've actually had a really good start to the Premier League campaign, and, okay, we're only a point behind. We're 3 points ahead of Tottenham. That's a really, really good start. Considering Tottenham, usually they end their campaigns weak, whereas we end our campaigns strongly. We usually have a weak middle period, usually I tend to find, with Chelsea. So usually that January period is where we will maybe be at our most vulnerable, but certainly, for the here and now, for the beginning of the season, we've been fantastic under Frank Lampard. And yeah, really, really looking forward to each game as they come really right now. But yeah, 4-1. So what does this mean for each team quickly, season as things may develop, of course. And that's what we need to ask now quickly. So first, let's start with Chelsea. So Chelsea's next game is against Newcastle. Should be an easy home win, I would like to say. However, we can't get too carried away. Newcastle, can be a dangerous side, and I think they played sometimes this season very, very well against teams where maybe they shouldn't. They won against Tottenham. We saw that away. I think they did pretty well in the opening day football match against Arsenal, even though they had a 1-0 loss. That's a very good result. So, even though we're at home for the Newcastle match, it should be one that we can see through. It should be one that we can win once again. But it's not going to be necessarily easy on us for us to get that victory. However, on the other end of the table, let's check Southampton's next game. Obviously, which I'm pretty sure, you all want to know. So Southampton's next game is Wolves away. Well, considering, Wolves actually beat Man City today, 2-0, quite convincingly. Another defeat for City, I know. But yeah, considering Wolves beat Man City today, Southampton didn't play great against Chelsea. I really do think this one's going to be a tough one. Another tough match for Southampton. I think, realistically, their goal should always to be, especially against against Wolves or any of these mid-table clubs, to come away with a point or two. Well, a point or three. You don't come away with 2 points in football. That's a stupid saying. But the point is, they should come away with a point. I think, against Wolves. But I just got a feeling, because it's at home, I think Wolves will nick this one. Probably, I'm going to say 2-0, I think. Because I think Wolves, defensively, are a better team than Chelsea right now, at the present time. But yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Wolves. So yeah, that's my next week's, match predictions for both Southampton and Chelsea. If you have enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe and share it. As I say, I'm doing these match review videos every now and again, just as a one-off sort of spin-off series, because Chelsea's my favourite club, of course. And given that we won today, I think we can be proud. So well done to the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.